Welcome back. You're watching a Young Turk special from Manifest 2016, the Founders Summit. Ameera Shah, promoter of IPO-ready Metropolis Healthcare, came back to India in 2001 after a stint with Goldman Sachs in New York to manage her father's standalone pathology lab. Over 15 years, Ameera has created a 600 crore rupee brand that has operations in 7 countries. In a conversation with Young Turk Saina Denugara, Ameera shares her experiences and learnings from her entrepreneurial journey so far. Listen in.
Go out and tell 5 people, oh my God, this service is just fantastic. I couldn't believe it. It was over and above my expectation. And I think building that brand to be over and above somebody's expectation through an experience again and again and again and again is the only way to build a brand in services.
Headline for this talk was owning the belief to innovate. What we're going to talk about in this session is the belief part of it, which is a crucial ingredient to any sort of entrepreneurship, whether you're a one-person team or whether you're a heading up 4,000 odd people. It is the belief and transferring that belief.
I think when you're a small firm, either a startup or not, but when you're a small team, the entrepreneur is the organization, right? All your good, all your bad, if you're impatient, it comes out in the culture of the organization. If you're extra careful, it comes out in the nature of the organization. So all your strengths and weaknesses become the organization's strengths and weaknesses. Then you go to a different stage, right? When you come to a more mid-level stage, where you've now had traction, you're recognized as somebody who's a driver in the industry, as an organization. The needs of the entrepreneur are very different. The needs of the entrepreneur are actually more at that time to be a development head. That's the time you want to focus on really building the best quality team. It's about creating that alignment and motivation of all the other people that are there, creating that stakeholder value for them and ensuring that they are with you with the same common vision that you're sharing and moving in the same direction. Then you go to a larger business, right, where things are pretty much set, you've got systems in place, things are pretty much on autopilot. And at that point, from the promoter, what you need is something completely different. You actually need the promoter to be able to completely disengage his or her own personality from the organization's personality and let the organization create its own personality, which is hopefully a better mix of all the other people's strengths and weaknesses in the organization.
So let's go back to this first stage when you were in your early 20s, you had come back, you were trying to modernize your father's pathology center. You must have run into a wall internally, questioning yourself about some of the things that you wanted to do. Would they work? And then you would have run into another wall of people around you trying to tell you, hey, this is never going to work here. This is some fancy idea that you bought from another country that's not going to work here.
I mean, you're talking about my day-to-day life. But I genuinely think that for entrepreneurs, paranoia is a very healthy trait. And that's actually what keeps you on your toes and what keeps you smart and what keeps you alert. Not fear, because fear paralyzes. For me, I think I faced incredible amount of resistance when I came back. And it was not only because of the idea or the business. Healthcare was and is a very traditional business. I'll tell you an instance of 2 months ago, right? I went to an international location where we do business. I took my general manager. We went to meet a customer, very important customer. And we're sitting across and this customer is, maybe a 50-year-old guy. And it's the first time we're meeting. And my general manager is introducing me, and the general manager is my age, right? He's sitting with me. And I start talking to this customer, and I told him the proposal suggestion, and to respond, he kept looking at my GM. He wouldn't look at me. He just would refuse to look at me. And in my 20s, this would upset me, right? Because I would feel, what the hell, and I would not understand why this is happening. Now I understand why it's happening. I understand it because a lot of time men are not used to dealing with women, but I think resilience and just getting up and saying whatever, you don't want to talk to me, that's fine, I'll keep communicating my message and I'll anyway let you know what's in my mind. It's up to you what you want to do.
Constant sometimes rejection of ideas or the constant pushing of the boundaries can be very exhausting, right? How did you deal with it?
I think short-term pressure comes out of me when I whack the tennis ball. right? So that's what happens on a daily basis or a regular basis. I think the long-term pressure is the hardest stuff. I think for me, it's always come from a sense of just knowing and having the confidence of saying that, look, how many of times I get knocked down, I know I can stand up. If tomorrow I was to lose everything I've built, I genuinely believe I can start afresh. And I think having that confidence or that knowledge to say, I'm not dependent on this for how good I feel about myself, I think is critical. I think talking about ecosystems and support mechanisms for, I'll tell you, 14 years out of the 15, I didn't have any support mechanism or much of a support mechanism because I didn't create it. It doesn't come automatically. Last 2 years, I've actually gone out, approached people who I think who like me, who I've had and made an effort to get to know, who I respect, and have taken the time to get to know me and therefore be able to brainstorm with me when I need advice.
Now in retrospect, and I'm asking this because it's a room full of young entrepreneurs, do you wish that you had built this circle of mentors around you
100%.
earlier?
Because advice is free. Everybody's happy, like you put 10 people here, they'll give you advice. But it's generic advice. It's not specific for you. Because each of us are different human beings and we operate differently. So who are the people who are actually happy to meet you once a month, have a lunch with you, get to know your innermost thoughts and feelings, understand your fears? Who do you feel comfortable talking about your fears without feeling judged? Because we all have it. We all have vulnerabilities. We all have fears. We just don't talk about them. So who gives us that comfort to be able to do that and take the energy to get to know us? Those are the mentors you want.
So don't wait as long as Ameera did. Find yourself a mentor who understands not just your business but takes the time to understand you as well. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this special edition of Young Turks. Do feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter or email. You can mail us youngturks@network18online.com, bouquets or brickbats, whatever it is. We always like to hear from you. Till next week, from the entire team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.